What's up, guys? It's Scotty here with Flat Track Flashback, and we're out here at Mid Carolina Speedway in Novice, South Carolina for the finale, rounds 8 and 9 of the Mission Foods CTR Flat Track Series. We've got several championships that are very tightly contested, single digits separating the top riders in the 65cc, 85cc, Super Mini, 450 Amateur, Open Amateur, 250 Amateur classes. So many titles still up for grabs, and it's all going to come down to this weekend. It is hot. As you can see, the sleeves are off, squirt guns are out, and it's going to be a beautiful weekend of racing. The weather seems to have cooperated. Precipitation has plagued the series so far this year, but it looks like we're in for a great weekend of racing. And this series has seen a ton of support from Mission Foods, from Dunlop Tires, from a lot of other sponsors that have stepped up to make this event happen, this series happen all season long. So cool to have Dunlop mounting tires here at every single round, having Mission Foods giving away free product. So cool to have those partners here at every single round for the Mission Foods CTR Flat Track Series. Earlier today, we caught up with several of the top riders in those amateur title fights, and let's see what they had to say coming into the finale here at Mid Carolina.
Had a couple of bike problems during Harpster. Had to run other people's bike, but other than that, it's been pretty good. Finished first in 458 winter throwdown, and then from there on, I built confidence in Salem, Ohio. I got second in the 458, and I think first in the Open Am, I think, that day, or first in the 458. Can't remember, but then I had the mishaps. We rode other people's bikes, couldn't really get comfortable, and then now we're here, and I got my bike back finally, so hopefully I could do something. It's been pretty sick. It's usually just been me and my dad, but winter throwdown, we had one of my buddies go with me, and that's about it, but it's been sick. I'm hoping that it just stays tacky, doesn't get dry, and just rip it. Try to keep moving forward and try to win this. We did pretty good in Salem, Ohio this year. Borrowed a bike, Ian Wolf's Honda, and we were able to come through with 2 wins. And then the second day, it wasn't that good. We track changed a little bit, and we weren't able to figure it out throughout the day. But the mains went pretty well. We finished 4th and 5th, I think. But yeah, all in all, this season been pretty good. Finished 3rd in the world this year at Amateur Nationals and first American. I was the only one to win any race against all the Australians, so I'm pretty pumped about that. And hopefully next season we can win it all. I don't really run a lot of clay tracks, and Corey does a really good job at putting us on clay tracks like Peoria, here, Salem, Callahan, all those tracks. I'm more of a cushion guy. I've grown up on a bunch of the Lima Half Mile, Harpster, Ohio, but we don't really get into a lot of clays, and just running this series has really helped me out with running my clay tracks.
It's been super fun this year. Like, I'm super blessed and to be able to come out here and race all the fast guys. And balancing 250s and 450s have been a little bit of a struggle on the tracks that I haven't been on like a while, like the half miles. But other than that, it's been pretty relatively fun because I've been doing it a lot at my house, so I've been pretty used to that. I'll be able to see the track like on the 450 and the 250, whatever one comes first. Also, my Open Amateur class, I just get a lot of time out there on the track.
It's been really good, honestly. We've been up there 1 and 2. I think we got 1/3 maybe, and we're just going to keep pushing, try and get this up. Having some good battles with rider Bitz-Hay, and hope to keep it going and win the championship. Don't come out here much, so don't really know what to expect.
It's been fun doing a series before we go to AFT. And coming into the round today, I still have a points lead, I think, but I think I still have to beat Brody Hansen, so we'll have to get that done. But otherwise, yeah, we're feeling good. Track is totally different from the last time I was here. You could run up the track in both the corners, and it wasn't one line. But here, it's pretty one line, but that's what you get. Different tracks, got to learn them, right?
Yeah, it's been good. We started out on a 250, and then we moved on to a 450 at Salem, I think. Yeah, Salem. And we got 3rd there, and we're just chasing the series pretty much. I'm more of a clay guy. Definitely never. I've been okay on cushions, just prefer clay tracks. I've got experience here, so I think it's going to be pretty good, and hopefully we can get a win. We haven't got one all season, so yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Corey does a really good job of organizing these weekends, making sure nothing clashes. But yeah, I think the series is great. Corey does a really good job, and everyone that helps out with him too. You guys do some really good tracks and fun tracks, and the track prep crew do a good job getting the track right for all the races. But yeah, I think today and tomorrow should be fun. Good to get on the bike and spin some laps and learn some new things before some big meets. So it's also good to have Corey here helping me. He's my coach and mentor as well. So this track's good. I'm good at this track. It's just last time we had a little bit of bad luck. Got stuck up, got off the groove, and just a few little mistakes that we can fix up here and there. So I think this weekend should be good. I think we should be able to win it. I have the confidence to win it, so we just have to try and perform.
And let's see how everything went down over the weekend. Let's catch up with all the racing action that took place at the final rounds of the Mission Foods CTR Flat Track Championships. Let's begin in the 450 amateur class, which saw 4 riders enter the weekend, all with legitimate shots at taking home the championship. Aiden Savage held a fragile 5-point lead over rider Bitz-Hay as the weekend began. 11 points back was Bodie Page, and Cody Mischie sat just 18 points adrift. But Friday proved detrimental for Mischie and his title hopes as he battled bike problems all day and was unable to qualify for the main event. On the night, Page capitalized and picked up the win, closing the points deficit to Savage. Now just 2 points between them entering Saturday's contest, and just a few extra back was rider Bitz-Hay, all 3 of them very much alive in the title fight. The second night would see Dylan Durrell take the early lead over Brody Hansen, and those 2 would pull away. But behind them, the championship battle played out. Savage leading Page early on, but here we see Bodie get underneath and take over third place, also the points lead at this time. Shortly after, it was checkmate. Jack Brooks gets underneath Savage with both going wide, losing wholesale ground, and that would be the end of Savage's championship hopes. Durrell would take the win. He would win the battle over Brody Hansen, but Bodie Page brings home the championship in the 450 amateur class. In the open amateur class, Jack Brooks entered the weekend just 8 points clear of Brody Hansen, but following a 4th place finish on Friday night to Hansen's 2nd, that gap was trimmed to a single point between those 2. Bodie Page, after picking up the win on Friday, would sweep the weekend of the open amateur main events, and that left a mano-a-mano battle between Jack Brooks and Brody Hansen for the title. Hansen with the early advantage, but here Brooks gets underneath for what would be the championship winning pass. Now Hansen had a dramatic moment, major save late in the race, but Brooks' runner-up finish behind Page would bring the open amateur crown to Wisconsin. Hansen comes up 1 spot and just 5 points short in second. The weekend sweep by Page with both victories vaulted him from 5th to 3rd in the final open amateur standings. All year long, we talked about the depth and the excitement that comes from the Super Mini and the 85cc classes, and Mid Carolina brought all the best back together for one final weekend of just incredible racing with the top riders in this class from across the world. Jackson Joyner of California trailed Australian Lucy Heaton-New by just 7 points entering the final weekend of Super Mini competition, and a pivotal win by Joyner on Friday turned the tides in his favor, besting Wesley Settle, and with Heaton-New coming home 3rd, Joyner would carry a 2-point edge onto finale night. Now, while Wesley Settle would pick up the win on Saturday, Joyner would come home 2nd ahead of Heaton-New, and that would give Jackson Joyner the Super Mini Championship. However, his work was far from over. Night 1 of the 85cc class saw Odin Music dominate, but behind him, just an angry hornet's nest of 2-strokes dueling out for those final podium spots. Late in the race, a catastrophic moment for Jaden Nickens' title hopes as he goes down entering turn 4. An awkward crash. Nickens had entered the night just 1 point back of Jackson Joyner, but that fall combined with Joyner scoring a 2nd place finish in the main event was basically match point for the California rider. Nickens did rebound on the 2nd night to get the victory, his 3rd of the season, and earned a nomination for Defensive Rider of the Year, holding off several attempts by Wesley Settle to wrestle away the lead, and comes home 2nd behind Jackson Joyner in the championship. Joyner coming home 4th on the night, and that enables him to be a double champ on the year. We mentioned Odin Music's Friday night 85cc triumph. We'll put the record back on. There's more tracks to play for the Michigan rider, who was locked in a title fight in the 65cc ranks with Cruz Texter, and Texter added extra pressure, trimming the points lead to just 3 following a victory on Friday night, creating a winner-take-all battle between the 2 on Saturday. Both riders get out front with Music ahead early on and surviving pressure from the number 26 gas cast. Odin Music picks up the win and the championship aboard his 65. And even though Cruz finished 2nd on Saturday in the 65cc class, he managed 5 victories throughout the weekend, picking up a sweep of the 50cc chain and 50cc air-cooled classes. Cruz also coming home champion in both of those classes, and wrapping up a perfect season, a perfect 9 for 9 in the 50cc chain class. And on Saturday, Cruz went from the penalty line to first on the opening lap to score that 9th 50cc chain victory. All year, the 250 Amateur Championship has been focused on Californian rider Bitz-Hay and Illinois rider Braxton Reagan, and 5 points separated those two coming to Mid Carolina. With starts being crucial and passing at a premium, Bitz-Hay launched off the line ahead of Reagan on both nights and was able to fend him off for both wins on the weekend and score the championship in the class. However, on Saturday, Reagan nearly stole a victory from him as the two were buried in lap traffic coming to the finish line, but Reagan came up just inches short on this occasion and allowed Bitz-Hay both wins on the weekend. The Open Novice class saw 3 riders separated by just 3 points coming to Mid Carolina. Jerry Ferrara, Ryan Barber, and Jackson Settle were the focus of this championship fight, but once the dust settled, well, you could also say there were scores to settle. I know that's a desperate reach for a pun, but oh well, we went with it anyway. Nonetheless, Jackson Settle, 2 wins on the weekend, goes from 3rd to 1st, and walks it off as the Open Novice champion. Also, how about a shout out to Dylan Deutschlander for a P4, just hopping on a bike the second night and coming home 4th in the Open Novice class there. I know he feels like he got a championship to go for next year. All the vet classes on the weekend saw champions of those classes also pick up weekend sweeps and win the race on both nights. We got 4 more wins for Davey Durrell as he would take top honors in both 50-plus and 60-plus main events. But real quick, our thoughts go out to Rick Reed, who had a scary crash here. Hoping for a full recovery from Rick and hope to see him at the track in the future. Greg Boyle would top the 40-plus combatants at Mid Carolina, and Kyle Snyder got the better of a Mid Carolina legend in Tyler Treadaway, making his return to racing. Snyder takes top honors in the 30-plus division. Now, on Saturday, due to lower rider counts, the 30-plus and 40-plus classes were combined on track, and for a little extra pride, well, the 30-plus champ Snyder was able to hold off 40-plus champ Boyle on the track in that race. The vintage class saw 2 different winners on the weekend, with Alex Childs and Benjamin Miller taking home wins in that class, but it was Miller who had already secured the championship coming into the weekend, and he would be the vintage champion of 2025. We also saw separate winners in the Hooligan division, with Friday's victory going to Georgie Price, and Saturday it brought a little extra pressure as this race was coach-sanctioned with the Grand National Hooligan Championship. The South Division would be on display here on Saturday, and it was Daniel Poole who got a better start and navigated lap traffic just a tad better than Robert Lewis en route to his victory on Saturday. But this championship on the year for the CTR Hooligan class would be earned by Vincent Zachary. And finally, our expert classes. How about this? Both runner-ups in the AFT Singles Championship and AFT Super Twins Championship in the house. You got Trevor Bruner, you got Briar Bauman, just a few of the series regulars who descended upon Mid Carolina Speedway to look for a little extra cash and, I don't know, maybe some extra momentum as the offseason hits. And earlier in the week or over the weekend, we touched on a little bit of drama that went down on Friday night between Braden Fanders and Trevor Bruner. So if you missed that, let's go revisit it real quick. Braden Fanders leading 14 3/4 of this race. Going into turn 4 on the final lap, Bruner, after chasing him down, gets underneath of Fanders and then make contact. Fanders going down and Bruner going to victory lane. We were able to talk to both of them after the race and hear their thoughts on the incident.
Yeah, it was the first 5 laps when the track was nice and wet. I was able to kind of let it all hang out on the framer. It was working so good when the track was wet. But when the track dried out and had to move back to the bottom, Trevor ended up gaining that time that I made at the beginning back up on me, and going on the last lap, I knew he was there, and just kind of thought to myself, got to get a good run out of 2 and get the thing into 3, and we got it, and felt like I got it into 3 really good, and thought I had the door closed, but he just came out of nowhere and took me out. That's the best way to put it, and it was a little bit of a bummer. It pissed me off, but we came back in that Open Expert main event and got the whole shot and just checked out from there. And it was a fun night of racing.
Yeah, he pulled out a big gap, and I thought he was gone for good, and put in kind of a late race charge and caught up right to his rear wheel, and got right on his rear wheel at the white flag. And I was like, man, I think I can make something happen. And we went into turn 3, sent it in pretty good. And I thought I could squeeze in a little under him. And then, got into a little bit of the dust thought I could save it and just kind of bump and run kind of thing, like short track is, you know, known for. But you know, got in a little too hot, and as soon as I hit the marbles, man, it picked up speed, and then I hit him. So not what I had planned, not what I really wanted. I don't really like riding like that. You know, I've had situations in the past like that. So yeah, I definitely didn't want to get into him that way. But it is what it is, and we'll move on, move forward.
Now, in addition to talking with Trevor Bruner about their little dust-up, we also got to chat with him about how to navigate so much track change that happens at Mid Carolina Speedway, from racing in the heat of the day to when the sun goes down and the moisture starts to come up. Bruner has found a lot of success at Mid Carolina since it reopened, being a front runner in pretty much every single expert race held there.
I think it's just the abrasive nature of this dirt. It's like that red, sandy, compact stuff. It gets real abrasive, and traction comes, you know, at a premium once the groove starts laying down. So I'm kind of a little bit of a throttle happy kind of rider. So when traction is given to me, I usually excel pretty good at it. So I think that's a big part of why I like this Mid Carolina Speedway.
That win on Friday was enough for Trevor Bruner to secure a Premier Expert Championship on the season, which in a way was pretty lucky for him because he failed to qualify for Saturday's Premier Expert main event. This was the deepest class on the weekend. Man, it was a dogfight, very cutthroat action. Bruner actually missed the transfer out of his heat race, and then misfortune met him in the semi, unable to make the main event on the second night. The main event for the Premier Experts on the second night would see Briar Bauman leading early, pulling away, but with a few laps remaining, Dylan Durrell with a crash in turn 4 pulls the field right to the rear tire of the number 3. And on the restart, Chad Coase takes advantage of this, gets underneath Bauman in 3 and 4, and brings everybody with him over the next few seconds. Coase would go on to claim the victory ahead of Brody Hansen and Braden Fanders. And if you remember, Chad Coase also started the season with a victory in the Premier Expert class. He won the opening Expert main event down there in Callahan at Winter Throwdown, and bookends the season winning the final Premier Expert main event of the year. Now, the last race of the season, the official close to the 2025 Mission Foods CTR Flat Track Series, would see Braden Fanders lead wire-to-wire once again. However, this would be much more difficult than his Friday night victory. Fanders had to survive a relentless attack from Briar Bauman on this night. Bauman all over him and just not able to find an opening past Fanders, who rode great all race long, being defensive, not giving Bauman a chance, brings home a victory, scores the double in the Open Expert class. And we also got to chat with Fanders about racing these PBW framers that he had versus the DTX style bike that he competes on and is regular in American flat track competition.
It's almost impossible to not have fun on a framer, especially with the guys I have around me this weekend. Buddy, Johnny Goad, the whole crew over here. It's pretty laid back atmosphere, and I have a lot of fun riding the framers. So it's different than what we're used to. Riding the DTX bikes is basically our job, and so when I get the opportunity to ride a framer, I take advantage of it.
Big weekend for Braden Fanders, 2 wins in the Open Expert class. Huge for him as he heads into this offseason. But runner-up Briar Bauman, that result was enough for him to be crowned the Open Expert champion of the series. And additionally, Briar would pick up the Mission Challenge Dash for Cash victory earlier in the day on Saturday. So a little extra coin to go toward those baby knees as that moment is fast approaching for he and wife Shayna Texter Bauman. What an epic season with riders from around the globe chasing this major AMA championship. We had 9 action-packed rounds showcased to fans in flat track hotspots across the country and to viewers around the world on Fans Choice. Just a huge thank you to everyone who worked with Corey Texter Promotions, Corey, his family, the people who stepped up for officiating, for scoring, for working in tech, everybody that was involved in the content creation for this, in the management from day-to-day operations, all the sponsors, all the riders and families who sacrificed time and miles to attend these events. We get to witness this amazing series take place and showcase amateur flat track racing. And also we talked about stars of American flat track showing up to support. You've got top racing from 50cc to pro ranks, the vet classes, top amateur riders. The future of the sport was very much on display, and we at Flat Track Flashback are extremely grateful for the opportunity to get to witness this event, this series take place all year long, and to be able to be there in person for a few rounds. So a major thank you to Corey and his entire team for putting the series on. We don't know what's next, but what we know is that we have amazing memories to carry from the inaugural Mission Foods CTR Flat Track Championships.